to the bread kitchen. I don't have a stand mixer, so making brioche is always a bit tricky and very messy. Today I'm going to show you how to make some absolutely delicious light and fluffy brioche rolls that you can either have for breakfast or use as burger buns. To 80 grams of lukewarm milk, I'm adding 5 teaspoons of sugar and 2 teaspoons of dried yeast. Mix them all together, then leave for 10 minutes for the yeast to start working. To 350 grams of a really good strong bread flour, add a teaspoon of salt and mix in. Add in the yeast sugar water mix and 3 beaten eggs. Then mix well to a smooth dough. And what you'll end up with is quite a sticky dough. Now I've put this dough on a surface and I'm going to knead it for about 5 minutes, and the way I'm going to do it is with a slap and roll technique to start with until some of the stickiness has gone out of it. So quarter turn, slap it down, roll it over, quarter turn, slap it down, roll it over. And having a plastic scraper kind of helps to keep it all together too as it sticks to the work surface. So I've been doing this for about 5 minutes and it's lost a little bit of its stickiness, but by no means all of it. Now I'm going to spread this dough out and add in 100 grams of softened butter. It's at room temperature. You don't want melted butter in this, otherwise it's going to become a horrible mess. It's bad enough as it is. Now with my scraper, I'll fold this up and then start kneading the butter into the dough. Oh, this is getting horribly messy, but it will all come together, trust me. It gets worse before it gets better. Now after just 2 minutes, it's lost a lot of its stickiness, as you can see how easily I can scrape it off the surface here. And I'll just keep going. I'll do this for about 10 minutes. Now there's a strong temptation when you're making a dough like this to add lots of flour in to combat the stickiness. Well, my strong advice is don't, because you'll end up adding an awful lot of flour, which will make your brioche a bit dense. But as you can see, after 10 minutes of kneading, it's kind of lost its stickiness. Oh, this dough's looking all right. Next thing to do is pop it in a lightly greased bowl, cover it, and then leave it at room temperature until the dough has about doubled in size. You don't want this dough to get too warm or the butter will start to come out of the dough and you'll end up with an oily mess. So this is my dough after a couple of hours. I'll just turn it out onto this surface. Knock it back to get the gas out and then scoop it up. It's not really sticking to the surface, but there we go, it's a nice dough. Now that you've got your dough, you can cut it into as many pieces as you like. For breakfast rolls, you're probably going to want to cut it into 12 pieces. I've split my dough into 8 pieces. Now then, just put these to one side. Take a piece of dough, stretch it and fold into the centre and work your way around the edge, so that what you're doing is you're stretching the underside, making a nice ball shape. Then turn it over, plump it up, cup your hand and roll it around on the surface to seal the bottom and make a nice smooth shape. Now I'll pop this on a lightly greased baking tray. Once again, it's worth noting that I'm not using any extra flour here. The dough's not at all sticky. It's greasy, but it's not sticky. So here are the first 6 on my baking tray, and I'm just going to very gently press them down and flatten them a little bit. Then I'm going to pop the tray in a large plastic bag and leave them at room temperature again for about 45 minutes to an hour to allow them to rise. These are now about ready to bake, so I'm going to pop them in the oven at 175 fan oven, 195 normal oven for about 15 minutes. Keep an eye on them. And when they're cooked, they should be this gorgeous golden brown colour. Now pop them on a rack to cool. So let's cut one of these in half and you can see the lovely fluffy texture inside. Oh, delicious! These buns are so light and so squidgy, they're like little pillows. If you're going to use these as replacements for burger buns and you want to put sesame seeds on, simply brush the top with a beaten egg and sprinkle on your sesame seeds before baking. I hope you enjoy making your brioche rolls, and do join me next time in the bread kitchen.